The blood of the sea. The sea does not forget its own. It calls them back, generation after generation, binding them to its tides, whispering its secrets in their dreams. And for 4 generations, the women of the Adair family had carried a secret hidden beneath their skin. They were not entirely human. I, the first generation Kala, the betrayed. It began with Kala Adair in the year 1862, when she was pulled from the storm-wrecked waters off the Scottish coast. She should have died that night. Instead, she washed ashore, naked and gasping, her silver blue tail splitting into human legs under the full moon's gaze. She was taken in by a fisherman, Thomas Adair, who nursed her back to health, never questioning where she had come from. He loved her. And Kala, despite her cursed heart, loved him in return. 4 years, she tried to ignore the pull of the ocean. She bore him a daughter, Elspeth, and wove herself into the fabric of a human life. But the sea is not kind to those who abandon it. One fateful night, Thomas saw what she truly was. The way her skin shimmered under the moonlight. The way her wounds healed too fast. The way the waves whispered her name. His love turned to fear. His fear turned to betrayal. And as the villagers came with torches and nets, Kala made her choice, not to fight, not to run, but to protect her daughter. She vanished beneath the waves, never to be seen again. But the curse of the sea had already passed to Elspeth. 2. The second generation Elspeth, the keeper of secrets. Elspeth Adair grew up hearing whispers. The witch's daughter. Cursed blood. She'll vanish just like her mother. But Elspeth did not vanish. She endured. She kept her head down, hid the signs, the way she never felt the cold, the way her wounds sealed with salt, the way she always knew when the tide would turn. She married. Had a daughter. And when Margot was born, Elspeth watched carefully, waiting for the signs. They came sooner than expected. Margot nearly drowned as a child, only for the sea to spit her back out, unharmed. Elspeth knew what had to be done. She took Margot to the cliffs where the ocean roared, and there, under the same full moon that had watched her mother disappear, she told her the truth. We are of the sea, but we do not belong to it. You must never let it take you. Margot listened. But her daughter did not. 3. The third generation Margot, the rebel. Margot hated the secret. She hated the warnings, the rules, the fear in her mother's voice. She hated the way the ocean felt like a home she had never known. So she ran toward it. At 17, she met a man who spoke of distant shores and untamed waves. He was a sailor, Jack Winslow, and he smelled of salt and danger. Margot loved him. So when he asked her to sail away with him, she did. 4 months, they traveled across the sea, and Margot felt alive. She swam in waters deeper than any mortal should. She whispered to the creatures of the deep. And she waited to change, to become what she knew she was meant to be. But she never did. She remained trapped in human skin, cursed to be of the sea, but never belonging to it. And then one night, Jack saw something beneath the waves. A woman. No, a creature. Pale and silver, her eyes black as the abyss. She beckoned to him, singing in a voice that did not belong to this world. Margot knew, then. Her great-grandmother had returned. Kala had not perished. She had become something else. Jack dove into the water. He did not come back. Margot never sailed again. And when she gave birth to her daughter, Isla, she swore to do what none before her had. She would teach her to embrace the sea. 4. The fourth generation Isla, the chosen. Isla grew up knowing she was different. Unlike her mother, her grandmother, her great-grandmother before her, she did not fear the sea. She welcomed it. She felt the tides in her blood, heard the whispers of the waves as clearly as a spoken word. And when she stood at the shore, the water reached for her. On her 18th birthday, she returned to the cliffs. For 4 generations, her family had fought against their nature. They had feared the truth, turned their backs on what they were meant to be. Isla would not make the same mistake. So when the full moon rose, when the tide surged forward, Isla stepped into the waves. And this time, the sea took her back. The legacy of the deep. Margot never saw her daughter again. She waited by the shore, called her name into the wind, but Isla never returned. Some say she drowned. Others say she was taken. But the truth lies beneath the waves, in the kingdom where Kala waits, where the sea does not forget its own. And when the tide rises high and the moon gleams silver, sailors swear they see them, a mother and a daughter, swimming together at last. Because the ocean does not steal its children. It only reclaims them,